You've seen how the mare's been reacting to the light little pulls that we put on her with the war bridle. What we're going to do now is ask her to do a little bit more, maybe pull a little bit harder on her, see what kind of reaction we're going to do without the lead shank on. We're going to remove the lead shank, so all we have holding her is the war bridle, but we still have her halter on. I'm going to step back away from the filly, and I'm going to pull on her a little bit harder to see if I can see what kind of reaction she gets. You can see immediately that she rears up some, but she immediately comes to me. And when she comes and responds, that's when I relax. And you can see now she's paying much more attention to me. As I back up away from her, you can see that she actually follows me without me even putting any pressure on the war bridle, which is what we want her to do. We have her attention now, and she's listening to us and following us and wanting us to do what she wants to. She's not readily accepting it, as you can see by her mouth. She's kind of got her ears laid off sideways. And when we start to work with her, she kind of works her mouth like that, meaning she's a little bit upset with what we're doing. So we want her to calm down some, and you can see there that she moved over towards me with light pressure from the war bridle and was much more receptive towards it. Once the filly has become accustomed to the war bridle in the stall, you need to take her outside. As you go outside, you need to stay in an area that's fairly confined, so if she does happen to get away from you, you can catch her again. As we lead this filly outside, we're going to ask this filly to stop and turn around and back up and do some things and show some respect to the war bridle, and do it very lightly and very quietly. We want her to turn around correctly by crossing over in front and then walk off with very light pressure. As she walks off, we want her to stay beside us and listen to what we're doing. We go to stop this filly, we want her to back up, and as you can see, she's backing up, but she's doing it a little bit resistantly. We're continually having to apply a little pressure to her head to make her back up. And the reaction of throwing her head is typical of what you would see when using a war bridle. If you watch the filly's head now, you can see that she's becoming a little bit more antagonistic toward what we're trying to do, becoming a little bit frustrated. But we need to just keep working with her and asking her to do the things we want her to do. She's not backing up very readily, so we took a little stronger hold with the war bridle and asked her to back up. As we back her up, we want her to stand up and be square when we stop her. We want her to stand still when we tell her whoa, as she's standing there. If she's not listening, then we apply a little more pressure with the war bridle and get her to pay attention to what we're trying to do. As we get her squared up, we want her to stand there and pay attention. There, the filly went to back up, and when she hit the end of the war bridle, she came forward, which is a typical reaction, so you kind of need to go with her and then bring her back and set her back up. As you can see here, she's becoming a little bit frustrated. She's going to get a little strong and bold in her movement here in a minute as she progresses with what we're doing with the war bridle, which is kind of typical on what you see when you're using a war bridle on a young horse for the first time. Here she's not listening. She's kind of running through the war bridle, so we take a little stronger hold and get her attention. You need to be ready for her. She may come off the ground a little bit, and you need to be ready to go with her and become used. But as she becomes accustomed to the war bridle, you'll be able to move off with her, and she'll accept it more readily, and she'll have more respect for the halter. And always remember to be light with your hands.